Hey guys, it's John here from the Acoustic Shop. One more time, we're making our rounds around the NAMM 2022 booth, and we wanted to stop at Martin. I know we're not a Martin dealer yet, but we love acoustic guitars. That's all we do. We love them, and Martin is synonymous with acoustic guitars. I mean, there's nothing else to say about that.
Well, thank you for saying that.
You think acoustic guitars, Martin is the, that's the premier line.
You're very kind.
Well, no, we believe it, and you all know that. I'm a vintage fan myself. I own quite a few, including Martin guitars, and this guy here, Fred's going to talk all about all the cool stuff that is happening here. We've already kind of breezed around it a little bit. There are some awesome new guitars from Martin, and he's going to tell us all about them. So, Fred, take us on a tour.
I'll tell you what. Let's go start with some new stuff over here. I think we got some really cool custom shop product. Let's go look at that first.
Follow us.
Hi guys, excuse me 1 second if you don't mind. Okay. Well, let's start right here with the Rich Robinson. The Rich Robinson, Black Crows. He came to us and we were talking about he wanted to do a signature model. And we were sort of like, okay, that sounds interesting. What do you want to do? And he says, well, my dad had this old 50s Martin D28, and which is the guitar we used, or what he used to write a lot of Black Crow songs.
There you go.
And he says, so this was his prime guitar, and he says, can you please find a way to sort of recreate that particular guitar? I want the same wear marks, I want everything. Well, we were like, oh, I don't know. We have never done that before. Let's see if we can do it. So we got his guitar, we got pictures of his guitar, we documented everything we could document on it, and we recreated a 1950s D28. All the same marks, all the lacquer checks.
I gotta tell you, I don't know if it's gonna come through on camera or not, but you look at this, I already walked through, you guys know I'm a vintage nut. You would swear this is a 50s era D28. I mean, you walk up
they
to
nailed
it,
it.
And it has that look, a person that didn't know any better, if they changed some of the tagging on the inside, easily be fooled into thinking this is the real deal.
Rich even said, he says, hey, I set it beside the real one at home, and they're hard to tell apart.
I would see that.
I mean, we went as far as even doing the rounded peg head.
Yes, I saw that.
Where the tooling was worn out back in the 1950s, so the peg head, it wasn't as square, so we recreated that. We also found the unique tuning machines on the back of the neck that his guitar had, which are non-standard. You can see the same belt buckle wear, neck wear that his original instrument had. So it turned out really good, and it sounds great.
It does. Well, actually, I got a sound demo, if you don't mind.
Please.
I'd like to strum on it.
It's all yours. Go for it.
Heck of it. So it does have that very 50s type of tone.
Absolutely.
Very mid-rangey.
Yeah, rear shifted like in the 1950s.
This is such a cool piece, and again, to make it look and feel like, even the neck feel has that very 50s feel all the way around.
The team did a really great job doing that.
Very cool.
Very proud of it.
Very cool.
Next to it, we have the major Kailaka. Now this, and many people will argue, is the precursor to the dreadnought.
Yes.
All right. Of course, in the 1920s, when Hawaiian music was huge, slack key playing was a big part of what was going on, and they wanted a bigger instrument to sound bigger, something that was much louder. You can kind of see the shape still has that sort of 12th fret triple O shape, but the depth of the guitar suddenly went much wider, and that's sort of why it was sort of the precursor to the dreadnought. Very unique bridge design. We only made maybe one or two, I think, were ever really actually produced. So we said this is an important part of Martin history. We need to go ahead and pay homage to that. So we built a little custom piece, and they'll be open.
A lot of people don't know there were a lot of Hawaiian guitars in Martin's past.
Huge.
I've got a friend of mine, some of you guys know from the Isaacs, she brought us one that was originally a square neck, and they ended up converting it to a 12 fret round neck. Fabulous guitar, all Koa. It was an all Koa guitar, and Martin was building this stuff because it was very popular in the 20s. Hawaiian music was huge.
There was a time that we actually built more ukuleles than we built guitars at the Martin factory.
That's awesome.
That's how big Hawaiian music was.
So this brings all that back again once more, except in a round neck. Well, not really round neck because it is a V-shaped neck, correct?
Correct. Sinker mahogany, back and sides.
Awesome.
Yeah, really, really pretty. Adirondack spruce top with our BTS aging on the top, so you kind of give it that good old sound.
I had a question for you real quick. I know
Sure.
we're jumping back a little bit. What did they do with the case on this? Did they kind of get a recreation case, or is
No.
this a new version?
New
Okay,
case.
just curious.
Yeah, we did not do that.
That would have been the next step in that over the top feel.
Listen,
but
in this
I
COVID
get it.
world, just
I
getting
get it.
pieces and parts is hard enough.
Just getting cases is hard enough. We've
Yeah,
been telling all the followers,
absolutely.
says, don't get mad at your manufacturer if you don't see the case that you expect to see, because sometimes it has been hard for manufacturers to get anything in. So
Yeah,
anyway,
we've been swapping stuff back and forth all year long, just trying to keep things moving for everybody.
your choice. You want a case or do you want a guitar? You can't have both. No, I'm just kidding.
What we see here is our custom shop SC. Now, this is a body shape and a neck design that we introduced in 2020. So it allows you to take the neck out of the body very quickly and adjust the neck. So you can take this neck off in less than a minute.
Really?
Yeah, and put it back in.
Do you recommend people do that?
We're going to be providing kits where you can do it yourself. It's literally easy as just 1, 2.
Really?
And it's coming out of there, no problem. You can do your own adjustments on the inside. There's an adjustment plate. There's actually an intonation screw, so you can adjust for intonation. It's a very unique design. People see it and they say, oh, it's a bolt-on neck. And I have to tell them, at no point does a bolt ever touch a neck.
Really?
This guitar.
That's awesome.
So it actually is a dovetail neck joint. The bolts connect to a floating dovetail. The neck goes into the dovetail. The bolts pull the dovetail tight. So
I'm gonna
it's
have
a
to
very
do some more
unique
research
patented
on that
design.
one.
It's a really, really cool. It makes the guitar super easy to play, very, very stable. So we had introduced that. We'll see it later at the first ones we introduced. This year we wanted to do a custom shop version of that with a little pearl, liquid metal bridge pins. Just sort of dress it up a little bit.
Absolutely.
Solid rosewood back and sides, and BTS spruce top. It's really
BGS
nice.
is showing up a lot in the Martin line these days, is it not?
It really is. It performs really well. People are happy. They want that sort of very dry vintage sound. They don't want to take the time to break a guitar in. They want to just go ahead and have it sound like an old guitar right off the bat. And this kind of gives you sort of a head start, a little edge.
So real quick, I don't want to get off topic. I know you got a lot of time, and we're taking some of yours, but for those viewers, because we get a lot of people on from various manufacturers talking about this, BGS is in that same world as the Torification or
Yes.
that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Martin believes that this is a solid foundation, because we do get
Yes.
customers that do not believe in the idea of
Correct.
Torification. What it's going to do to the wood, is that going to last? Martin is...
We've done a ton of testing on it. And a good way to explain it is if you look at the cells inside of a spruce top, think of you're holding a bunch of straws, like drinking straws, and you have all the holes. Well, that's what a fresh spruce top looks like. And over time, those cells sort of collapse and they dry, and the lignin within those cells sort of dry. And that's what kind of has your top sort of shrink and get ripply and gives you that sound. Well, we're able to kind of go in and recreate that. Now, some people just simply take it and cook it, and that would be regular torrefaction. We actually work to do something that's proprietary to us, where we could take old product out of the museum, examine it, and we have sort of our own recipe to sort of find certain years that we want to get to.
Really?
Tops. Yeah.
Very cool.
You can overcook something. I don't want a piece of wood that looks like it's 200 years old, but I would like something that looks maybe came from the 1930s,
Absolutely.
1940s.
Absolutely.
So we kind of honed in a little bit.
I'm a huge believer, and I just wanted to hear from Martin. What
we're a believer.
because there are a lot of. It's a newer product. I know it's been around for. Viking days. Vikings
Yes.
were doing Torification.
Correct.
This has been around forever.
It stabilizes the wood.
Absolutely, but people still don't trust it. There are some that don't trust it, and I just
Correct.
want to hear other people besides myself going, "Yeah, this is a good thing."
It works.
Yes, all right.
It works, and you see it showing up all over the place now. So
And
that's
that's
just
why.
proof. That's
Yeah,
exactly
absolutely.
right. People
Absolutely.
see that happening. So this is a custom shop piece called Hops and Barley.
This color on this top is gorgeous.
Isn't that gorgeous?
It really
That
is.
is Sinker Redwood.
Is it really?
Sinker Redwood top. We actually inlaid rosewood pickguard in there. The purple that you see here.
There's a little shading though going on,
There is
right?
a little shading going
Okay.
on. The purple you see on the inside is actually dyed maple. And then, of course, all the beautiful arts and crafts style pearl that you see happening on the instrument. It is figured walnut back and sides.
Which is also gorgeous, by the way.
Which I'll flip it over here in just a second. It's a really beautiful piece of wood. Nice back strip, incredible end piece on the neck. Incredible amount of detailed work, maple binding. really, really cool. Really, really cool piece.
I also love, like you said, this the walnut, but
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the Butterbean Ivoroid tuners.
Don't they
right
look
there.
great?
I'm a huge fan. I always have been. I just think that is a really cool
It gives it a
look.
totally different look,
Not just the
doesn't it?
round buttons, but the Butterbeans in Ivoroid. That is very,
Yeah.
very, very attractive.
And that arts and crafts movement, sure, it really works with that whole motif. So I just
agree
thought it
with
was
you.
put together really,
When
really
I
well.
first saw it, I was like,
I love it.
Good?
Absolutely love it.
Awesome.
yeah,
We're fighting for space over channels here right
Yeah,
now.
that's fine. We're going to swap.
All right.
We're going to
Where we
swap
heading?
around. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
We're going this way.
Guitar by Robert Getzel.
So
You gotta love it.
we'll do this.
This is one of my the next two guitars are two of my favorites that
This is
you know. And
awesome.
this is my vein right
This
here.
is it.
where-
This is a 1937 D28, authentic. So this is an absolute recreation of our 1937 model, as close as we can get it. Obviously no Brazilian rosewood, but other than that, as close as we can get it. We made a couple changes this year. This has been in the line for a while. And the primary change we made is, if you will notice the top shoulder, on modern Martin D bodies, that is a little bit rounder. That's
rounded,
what we've been
yeah.
using. So we took instruments from the museum, we did a line drawing test. We said, okay, now's the time to go ahead, change the tooling, and get this one piece of this instrument correct. So the actual vintage pieces has a much square top shoulder.
It's like level.
It's level. That's the way the originals were.
Yes.
And it's subtle, but for people like you, where these kind of things matter, it's important.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely important. The other big change is normally these instruments would have Madagascar rosewood on the rosewood. We're changing over. We no longer have any Madagascar rosewood left. It's illegal to harvest anymore. So we moved to Guatemalan rosewood.
So a much more sustainable version of rosewood.
Yeah, it's a much better managed forest. That's very well managed forest. So we've secured a rather large supply of Guatemalan rosewood.
Very
It
cool.
varies a lot in color, but the darker ones will be used on the authentics.
How do you feel tone-wise comparison to the Madagascar, which we know is like very close to the Brazilian rosewood?
Right.
It was very, very close.
It
so
was
you
very,
find
very
this?
close. I find this. I personally like the tone of the Guatemalan a little bit better. The Matty had a great look to it
Yeah.
because it had those dark inky lines that really reminded you
Yeah,
of Brazilian rosewood. But I thought it was actually a little bit softer. I think density-wise, this is much closer to Brazilian.
Really?
Yeah, from
Awesome.
a density standpoint. But it's a great guitar.
Well, if you don't mind, can I strum on it?
You better. Take the chance.
Absolutely. Fabulous guitar. I'll have to agree with you. This has the punch.
It does.
That really cool attack, and the feel of the neck is very, very
Absolutely.
30s. I love that. Absolutely.
It is. And of course, we have the 18,
The 18.
also. Same
Absolutely.
changes. And maybe give the 18 a strum and let people hear the difference between the 18 and the 28.
Sure.
That's a great guitar.
Also very punchy. Again, a fabulous, fabulous dreadnought. And I love the old necks, the feel of them,
Me
and
too.
that feels right. It definitely feels that way. Now, on those, they're still continuing to use the T-bars. of course.
Absolutely. High glue.
So high glue all the way on those,
Yep.
which makes that series as real as
That's it.
possible.
Adirondack tops, Adirondack bracing, the whole everything. It's as original to the 37 as possible right
Absolutely.
now.
So
Even a different gloss finish than our regular guitars.
one thing I did notice, though, I'm going to go back to that 54 just a little bit.
Sure.
Does that one have a truss rod? Did I see?
We did put a
there?
truss rod in that one because
Okay.
we wanted people to have something that was,
Tour stable?
yeah, exactly. Sometimes
Very much
the T-bar scares some people.
Yeah.
Right, they want that. They get afraid. They have to do a neck reset there.
Yeah. And again, but there is a tone that is imparted by the T-bar. Everybody knows it.
totally
There's something there.
believe in it. 100% believe in that.
Absolutely. So,
Absolutely.
very
How about we
cool.
look at some modern deluxes?
I want to. I
Yeah,
want to
let's
talk
do
about
that. I borrow that from you one sec. Thank you, sir. Okay, so this is our Modern Deluxe line, and it's exactly as it would sound. Modern Deluxe is we take our regular standard products, and we said, if Mr. Martin were alive today, the original, he always wanted to use the best material. So how would he design the guitar the exact same way today as he did then, knowing he has different materials to choose from?
Yeah,
so
and techniques even.
And techniques. So we took a fresh approach and wanted to do something a little bit different. So this in particular is a Modern Deluxe D45, which we introduced in January. What makes it a little bit different is it's got a carbon fiber bridge plate underneath as opposed to a maple bridge plate.
Wow.
So gives it a little bit more sustain, kicks it up a little hotter, and it's more durable.
And a little bit less weight too.
Absolutely less weight. Liquid metal bridge pins that we have here, we've proven through our own demo and experiments that by adding liquid metal bridge pins, which is a unique property, you can get 2 to 3 dB.
Really?
Just by changing the bridge pin. I didn't believe it. I told my guys I thought they were full of it, but they proved it to me using the computer. I said, okay, all right, I'm in on that. This has maple binding as opposed to the normal Ivoroid binding that we would use normally. It has Evo frets.
Huge fan of Evo frets myself.
Me too. I love it. They have a little bit of a gold color to them. And that gold color is because it's imparted, there's copper in that fret, and that gives it naturally that sort of gold look. Upgraded Waverly tuners, just a really, really beautiful, beautiful guitar.
I love that they brought back the stamp.
Yes.
Those of us that are big fans of the 30s era
we did
guitars,
the stamp, we did bring that back, absolutely. And if you look at the pearl on the fingerboard of the instrument, while it's the traditional sort of diamonds and squares look, it's abalone, and we outline that abalone.
That is very cool. I get that you got to catch a close of that.
So it's outlined with pearl around it. So it just kind of freshen it up, super fine, kind of give it a little bit different look. And then, of course, we a little different on the headstock there, other than just the logo.
Is that an ebony headstock? So instead of rosewood,
yep.
Again, a more modern look for what they're doing.
That's exactly right. And it's a fantastic sounding guitar. You should, if you want to give it a shot.
Yeah, now, a quick question for you on this.
Sure.
Are all the Modern Deluxes, so this one has a very squared headstock?
They all do.
Okay, all of them have a more squared headstock?
The very modern look.
Yes.
Right? I mean, when you look at it, it's unmistakably Martin, but very modern in that sense. Yeah, sorry, people have been playing
That's
them.
all right. Not to be blamed at all. So obviously you almost have a V-shaped neck here, but much smaller profile by far than a 37.
Correct.
Now we're still doing 1 3/4 at the nut.
1 3/4 at the nut. We actually modeled this neck off of an OM 45 Deluxe that we had in the museum. It had a really kind of a strange neck to it, and everybody really liked it. And we said, well, let's just use that to give it something different.
Very, very cool. Gorgeous guitar, sounds absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
I was talking about the stamp. I'm going to tell you the same thing, but we actually have an 1897 style 17 in our shop, and we hang it on display, and it's got the old New York stamp.
Oh, that's very cool.
We love that, and I love the stamps. I think that's just one of the cool things about
it. That's awesome.
The Modern Deluxe is a cool thing for those who are getting into the Martin guitars. I love that idea because you're getting something that is definitely traditional Martin, but with a more modern player in mind.
Correct.
All the features, and like you said, the things that most modern players have grown accustomed to. These are the things, we love the tone, we love the vintage instruments, but there's these tweaks, these things that make for a more modern guitar, a better player guitar.
Correct. If you think it's like owning a classic car that's been sort of hot rodded with more modern parts, so it drives a little better, feels a little better in that sense.
So, cool.
How about some ukuleles? As long as we're over here, let's look at a couple of ukes.
We talk about the history of Martin and ukuleles and Hawaiian music. They have been doing it forever.
Excuse me, if you don't mind.
They did it originally in styles, right? 0, 1, 2,
correct.
3.
That is correct.
And you had back then you had a concert soprano. Obviously, soprano was the most and a tenor.
Yeah.
All right. So we
there
still have those body shapes today, of course.
You're going to see it all. So we'll start here. This is our FSC T1 uke that we make in Navajo, Mexico. This has a good sustainability story. That all this wood, everything on this particular piece is sustainable woods.
Really?
Yes, the case is being made out of ocean plastic.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so recovered plastic.
Recovered plastic.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Rebuilt.
So we want to be able to tell a story that we're we're trying to use these resources responsibly going forward. So cool.
We're big into sustainability. We have a whole shop sustainable mission. We love that.
That would be perfect then.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have an O tenor here that's made in the United States. This one's all mahogany. For, we might say, a more serious uke player.
This is basically hearkening to the original designs of what
correct.
Martin
That
did.
would really be closer to what you were seeing back in the 20s and teens.
One thing that always was attractive to me about Martin ukes was the small button in the back of the heel.
Yeah.
Very, very attractive. We've had quite a few of the actual old teens and 20s era ukes in the shop, and they still continue to keep that look, and plus the very crowned headstock as well.
And new ratio tuners on all of our ukes this year.
Really?
So, yes,
very cool.
Really, really cool. And I think we have one more new one here, the C1 right here. This one's actually a laminated koa.
Laminated koa?
Yeah, we're using laminated koa on some of our SC13s out of Mexico. So in some cases, when you have a little extra wood, what we call fall off from the wood, we're using that to go ahead and make these ukuleles.
Again, making it more sustainable too.
Absolutely.
Again, I love doing that. We've talked with a lot of guitar companies about this. The sustainable mission, obviously, we're big into it. I know Martin's been really big into it, trying to make new moves to continue. Because, again, one of the cool things about sustainability in the music industry is people who play guitar usually very conscious of the world around them, that they're making music. It's an art form, and it's great to know that the thing that you use, the tool you use, is now taking that same movement. And Martin, again, even as such a traditional company, is making those moves. So
couldn't
we love
said
that.
it any better. That's why you're the pro.
That's my job.
You're the pro. As long as we're over here,
we need to look at this guitar.
Let's take a look.
Absolutely. I saw Chris walking around with this guitar, and I was like, why? Why is he taking this out of the case?
Exactly. This is our 2.5 millionth guitar that we've ever produced for Martin Guitar. Those are all individually faceted diamonds.
Really?
In the front.
Genuine diamonds, not fake ones.
No, genuine diamonds in platinum setting. You can see there's a gold border around the pick guard there that's hammered in. So this is actually the night sky that Mr. Martin would have saw in 1833 opening his new shop. That is the actual celestial look that he would have seen above. If you look on the pick guard, there's a line drawing there. That is actually Lower Manhattan, the street view from 1833. Awesome. The red ruby you see there is the location of the original shop.
Which makes a tie-in of what we were talking about with that 1897 mark. We have New York was the original shop.
That's exactly. Good tie-in right there. It's perfect. The wire that you see on the fingerboard that's inlaid there is all platinum.
Really?
It's all platinum wire. There's actually inlay inside the guitar, inside the sound hole that you can see in there. Obviously jewels inlaid everywhere. It's a very, very special piece of Belizean rosewood that Hearn Hardwood donated to us and said, hey, this is a really special piece of wood.
Very, very cool.
And we'll give it to you if you promise not to sell it. So it's not for sale.
That is, I even like the tuners. What is MMD? What do you know what this is standing for? Of course, I tried to stump.
Yeah, I knew you were going to stump me. It's going to hit me when I walk away.
I can't wait till we get the answer to this later, and somebody's going to put it in the comments.
Somebody in the comment list.
Roman numerals?
Is it Roman numerals?
2.5.
You're right on. You're a good man.
Jeremy. That's why we keep Jeremy here.
Man, oh man.
This is my brother Jeremy, by the way.
I'm in charge of design, and I can't even remember these things. There's too much stuff, man.
But it's gorgeous, absolutely. And Martin has done this before in showing off the cool parts and things that they have done. I mean, 2.5 million guitars. I mean,
that's a lot of guitars.
That is a lot of guitars, and absolutely a fabulous milestone.
Really is.
Again, very, very cool.
Thank you.
You can't say too much about that.
Yeah, it's really,
very,
really cool.
Absolutely.
We'll work our way this way. How about we go look at, we have a Dick Boat model. Let's check that out real quick.
I'd love to see that. This, of course, is the standard series showing off the stuff that Martin's been known for forever, including some of the redesigns of the original guitars and stuff.
We'll hit a few
which
things.
is the standard series of everything that's been out there.
Right. So for those of you who don't know, Mr. Dick Boak was in charge of artist relations for us for a long time, did custom guitars. He's an artist, and he retired a few years ago, so we decided to go ahead and do a Dick Boak 42 style. He did all the artwork, You can see his drawings here, and as it turns around, you will see the inlay on the
The
pick guard.
inlays are just incredible on this.
Yeah, really, really special.
And I love that you did it in the 42 style. I personally have always, I love the abalone. I want to see all the pearl work and stuff, especially with this kind of
Right.
extras with just fine detail inlays. But it's not over the top.
Correct.
It is absolutely decorative. The inlays are gorgeous, and that pick guard is a lot of pearl. But it doesn't feel like you just threw everything at that guitar just
Right.
to do it. And that's why I've always loved the 41s and 42 series guitars.
It's a very unique style of inlay work that we normally don't do. So that the Dick drew for this, so we're very pleased to show it.
I bet.
Behind me, well, first let's show you this 0016 because I think you're going to enjoy this.
I actually did play this. I think this came out NAMM Show, summer NAMM Show or something. Last one that we went to, and I remember seeing this. A very attractive guitar.
Yeah. So these Street Masters was a sort of a finished package. The one that's different about this one, normally these are done in all mahogany. This one is not.
Really?
This is not.
I think the one I played was done in all mahogany.
Correct. So this is actually rosewood back and sides with a VTS Adirondack top. And it has an interesting story. We have a lot of rosewood left over where the back and sides don't match. They're kind of like orphans.
I hear you.
Where am I going to use this wood? I don't want to throw it away.
Sure.
Right? So we said, let's put it on a guitar where we can use the finished package and kind of get our best bang for the buck. So by using sort of the Street Master finish package on the instrument, kind of give it a worn look, we can sort of even the color out on the instrument.
That makes sense. I mean, you can kind of see it if you really. This is a slightly darker set on the sides than what the back is on
Exactly.
this. But if you hadn't said that to me, I would have just considered it a slight anomaly.
Right.
But being able to do that, that's a smart move. I like
And on
it.
some of the VTS tops, on the Adirondack tops, they may have a stain or a dark streak or something like that. So we couldn't use it maybe on an authentic that's an $8,000 guitar.
Sure.
So by putting on here, doing our burst, kind of doing the sand throughs on it, you're getting an incredible value.
Absolutely.
In order to buy a rosewood guitar with an Adirondack VTS top through the standard line, it could cost you as much as $3,500, $4,000, and now you're going to get something closer to the $1,900 range.
$1,900. That's great.
So that's a lot
Get
of
modern
value.
guitar. So are they doing it in other body shapes besides the triple O?
Right now, just a triple O on the 16. But I'm sure we will be getting into other body shapes at some point.
If you don't mind, I'd like to get.
Yeah, please, go right ahead.
Kind of hear a little bit of that one too, just cause. Extremely responsive for a triple O body.
Yeah, really balanced, which is what you get out of a triple O. A lot of balance.
Very cool guitar, absolutely fantastic. And again, at a price point, I like the look, and I know there's going to be some of you viewers out there going to like, oh, I don't need a wore-out guitar,
Right,
blah,
right.
blah, blah. And I get it.
Hey.
I'm not. It's not for everybody. But again, if it's tastefully done, I'm not going to freak out. Like when we look at the 54, I don't look at that as beat up because it was beat up. I look at it, it's got wear and character to it. That I love, and that kind of has some of that wear and character in a new guitar. So
Correct.
very cool. Very, very cool.
We're going to take one look over here. I'm sorry, I crossed right in front of you.
You're fine.
This would be the SC13, much like the SC custom shop model we saw. This one is made in Mexico. It's a little price friendly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. This is around $1,800. Has the same neck joint that we saw earlier, but in this particular case, Zerakote. It's a veneer. So Zerakote inside, outside, and mahogany in the middle.
Mahogany in the middle. Awesome.
Yeah, really cool.
And a great finish package on it, especially if you're going to do the Zerakote. It makes more sense.
It's just such beautiful wood.
It is, absolutely. And it's actually becoming a very popular tonal wood for backs. I saw there is some custom shop guitars coming out from Martin.
It can be tough to work with. Zerakote can be prone to cracking, but by doing it in a veneer, right, it makes it, we don't have to worry about that as much.
Absolutely. Very
so
cool.
really pretty guitar. A very unique design on the rosette, sort of an iris, closing iris look on the rosette. The bridges on these are a little different. They're traditional Martin look, but instead of having a little dip right here, they're a little more modern.
Convex.
Convex.
Yeah.
Super easy guitar to play. Probably the easiest guitars in the whole line. And so if playability is your issue and you want to, if you're somebody who normally plays electric guitar and you don't play much acoustic guitar and you're looking for that access down here, This is the most access you can get on an acoustic guitar anywhere in the world.
So what is it, real quick, for all viewers, what is it that the SC is bringing besides the neck joint and this very comfortable feel right here? What is the whole point? I know it has the back X brace on the back as well.
It does. It really is aimed at, as we were just talking about, it's aimed at somebody who maybe isn't playing acoustic guitar most of the time. Maybe me and you, we grew up playing acoustic guitar first, and then you would go get an electric because you had to buy an amp and all the other stuff. Today, it seems to be reversed. A lot of people are starting playing electric guitars first, and then they say, oh, I'm going to get an acoustic. And then it just feels like too much to handle. I mean, you got to kind of manhandle an acoustic a little bit more, right? Your fingers got to kind of get used to it. So a lot of people abandon it. They just go back to electric and they just don't play much acoustic. This guitar really allows you to have that electric guitar feel, the electric guitar style neck. The string tension feels a lot easier. It is a asymmetrical sort of offset design, maybe more like a Jaguar, something like that, or a Firebird or something of that nature. So we wanted to say, not everybody wants their father's Martin.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, the son says, I want a Martin, I understand the value, but I don't want the same guitar Dad has.
If there was ever one thing that years ago, and I'm not saying this was a move you guys have been making for at least 10 or 15 years, is to kind of move that. But the previous generations always thought of Martin guitars as, if you want the traditional guitars that everybody else wanted, vintage guitars, that you wanted a Martin. If you wanted a more modern deal, I'm an electric player, you go with another brand.
Right.
You look for somebody else.
Correct.
And I think Martin came to that realization. Martin is a milestone. This is the
change.
This is the big end of what acoustic guitars are all about.
Correct.
And for them to recognize that there's a market outside of what they've always done.
Yes.
Martin has been a traditional company forever, and they're recognizing there is a whole nother buyer that loves what Martin does,
right,
but has different demands.
And we don't have to give up what we do. We're doing authentics.
Absolutely.
So this guitar, I didn't design this guitar with you in mind.
Absolutely.
I designed this guitar with you in mind, and I designed it with you in mind. You and I, we're going to gravitate probably more to the more vintage stuff, and this is designed at a different price point because we, as older guys, we may be shopping at a different price point than a younger person is shopping.
Absolutely.
So we want to try to get everybody in there and have something for everyone and not be exclusionary.
I think that makes perfect sense. Even, like you said, me and you who are more vintage oriented and love what Martin's always been about, also appreciate the modern styles, the new things. Like you said, the modern deluxe stuff. That kind of stuff still appeals to me in a different way. I have to think of them as two different channels, but some players don't have that opportunity to think in two different channels.
That's a
They
great
have to
point.
be able to think, this is what I need. I only have so much money. My gig is this. This is what I play.
Right.
I need the guitar that fits that.
Absolutely.
And that's where I think, good kudos to Martin for trying to think in that direction.
And I should point out also that our guitars are fairly big guitars.
Yeah.
This guitar is a little bit different. It's very small. It's very compact. It actually joins at the 13th fret. So it feels a little closer in this way, so you're not reaching out quite so far. So from a comfort standpoint, it kind of gives you a little more of an electric guitar feel, meant to be played with a strap-on standing up.
Well, good for Martin for being innovative when you already know that they're the best in traditional. So good for you guys. I mean, I think that's a fabulous move. So.
And I think that's all the new stuff we have.
Very cool. I appreciate, Freddie, going through all this stuff with us, spending the time. It has been awesome.
I had a good time.
I hope you guys have enjoyed being able to kind of take a live look around the NAMM 2022 booth here at Martin. We're going to continue to bring you more stuff. We love acoustic guitars. Like I said, even though it's not our brand yet,
working on it.
We will make on that. But we love guitars. I know you guys love guitars, and nobody is more impactful in the acoustic guitar world than Martin. So thank you for taking the time
Thanks
with
for
us.
everything. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you. And we'll catch you guys later on today.
Bye-bye.